Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you can see by the title, man, I'm back with a New Orleans Saints video. So, if you guys don't remember, in our last video on us destroying the Cowboys, and even in our video against us destroying the Panthers, I spoke about one thing specific. And what was that? I'm going to give y'all a little time to respond. Y'all didn't respond fast enough. That was my fear of that we were playing teams that wasn't up to par. So that's the reason why we was able to run the score up on the Panthers. That's the reason why we was able to run the score up on the Cowboys. And that's the reason why, but see, and I was going to say that's the reason why we wasn't able to run the score up on the Eagles. But here's my thing about that, right? So first we're going to go back to the Panthers. So we beat up on a team who just recently benched their #1 draft pick from a year ago. After, what, 2 games? They sat him down? After 2 games. I don't know, they might have been after 1. Correct me if I'm wrong with the comments, whether it was 1 or 2. Granted, it wasn't 5 games to the season, into the season, they didn't already sat him down. So that lets you know exactly where they're at in terms of where they are as a team. So when you see the result of that, you're like, okay, that's expected. So then we go to the Cowboys, who in my mind, okay, like, love them or hate them, right? I'm a Saints fan, not a Cowboys fan, by the way. I'm a Saints fan. Love or hate the Cowboys. Cowboys have a good football team, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. They do. They've made the playoffs the last, 3-4 years, where I know the biggest talk is, okay, they can't get over that hump, and I will give y'all that, but they have made the playoffs the last few years. You see what I'm saying? So that lets you know that they're doing something right for them to get there, because if they wasn't, they would have been like us, having a playoff drought for 2 years. So when I seen us go out there and destroy them, I was like, okay, you know, it's been so much going on with the Cowboys in the offseason, with the whole situation with Dak and CD contract-wise, that, you know, I feel like football to a certain degree, or the things that they needed to be working on, especially that camaraderie between Dak and CD, by CD missing training camp, they was going to have to kind of get under their feet. So I watched what the Ravens done to them the first half of the game, probably the first 3 quarters, up until maybe later in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, in terms of how bad they was beating them. So then I'm saying to myself, okay, now I really question that Cowboys victory, because I'm saying, okay, we blew them out at home, and now the Ravens doing it. Now, granted, they started to make a comeback against the Ravens, you know what I mean? But for the most part, they was dominated all across the board in that game, you know what I mean? So now we're going to go back to the Saints. I want to paint the picture for you about what I'm about to get ready to talk about. So now we go back to the Saints. We played the Philadelphia Eagles, a team who is 1-1, a team who hasn't really been, they haven't really got back into that stride that they had, you know, 2 years ago when they went and lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They haven't really got back there, you know what I mean? And granted, last year you had to deal with, you know, injuries. You know, Jalen Hurts actually being injured at one point for a good part of the season was something that hurt them. And then you fast forward to this season, they've already dealing with injuries in terms of not having A.J. Brown. And then I know in the Saints game, I'm not sure how long they're going to be gone. They had 2 of their offensive linemen went down. So, and then losing the departure of Jason Kelce, you know, obviously that left that O-line, it left question marks on the O-line. And now you're missing other top guys. So my thing is this. We lost to them. Defense done their thing. We lost to them 15-12. So you know what I seen when I seen that Saints offense today? I seen the Saints offense from last year. Right? That's what I seen. It's not easy to, it's easy to beat up on the team defensively that's not on the same page. They're not communicating, and overall the morale of the organization as a whole is just down. You know what I mean? It's easy to beat up on those teams. Now, my thing was this. The Saints hadn't been tested. Blowout first week, blowout second week. Third week, tight game, they lose. They didn't show up. So my thing is this. I needed y'all to show up at the time where it was really needed. Now, I'm a Saints fan, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, or I'm not going to get on here and just, oh, man, and make up. No. At the end of the day, no, because how y'all go from playing in quote-unquote playoff style and Super Bowl style to this style a week later against an Eagles team that's beat up at the moment, an Eagles team that's struggling at the moment, and we still could not do nothing against that defense. You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that I was worried about. I don't give you brownie points for beating up on a sorry team. You get no brownie points from that. You get brownie points from beating up on playoff teams, because if you get to the playoffs, those sorry teams that you're beating up on, they're not going to be there. So that's the whole thing that the Cowboys run across. You beat up on sorry players, sorry teams in your division, and a couple other sorry teams, and you lose to playoff teams. But by you dominating your division and you dominating those other sorry teams, you can make it. But now when you get to the playoffs, you're dealing with the 49ers, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, teams that actually can come out there and play good football for 4 quarters. You're dealing with that, and that's when the exposure comes. That's when they get exposed because the lack of competition, they never had to really fight through adversity. They never had to really figure things out. It was never a tight game. It was always either a blowout or they lost. It was just that simple. When they win, it's a blowout. If they lose, they just lost. You see what I'm saying? So that's my thing with the Saints. I saw too much stagnance with the offense today. You look at what was a repeat of last year. Defense on and off the field. On and off the field. On and off the field. I don't care how good Alontae Taylor is. He cannot play the whole game defensively and think he's going to be able to lock down a receiver. I don't care how good Marshawn Lattimore is. He can't play the whole game with little to no rest because the offense can't move the ball and be expected to lock down top elite athletes in the NFL. Same thing goes to Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, all those guys, right? So the offense at some point has to take pride and say, you know what, guys, our defense is killing us. I remember one game specifically. This was in the Super Bowl, matter of fact, when the Seahawks and the Patriots were playing, and the Patriots was the Seahawks was, giving up a lot of, motion for the Patriots. The Patriots was moving the ball, marching the ball on them. And Earl Thomas they put the camera on the sideline, and Earl Thomas was like, because Russell Wilson had just, I think, scored or made a big play. And then Earl Thomas like, dog, Russell Wilson is putting us on his back, man. And that's basically Earl telling defense, we got to stand up because these boys out there balling. But we can't stop them. So now we have to make our team offensively try to go tit for tat because we can't stop the opposing team. So you look at with the Saints, it's only so much defense. Now that shows you magnitude to the defense, and Dennis Allen as a defensive coach developed, even though he's head coach now, but still being defensive minded and keeping that culture and saying, okay, we're going to have to come out here regardless of what the situation is. I don't care if we're on this field for 90 snaps and the offense on the field for 5 or 6 snaps. Still no excuses. We're going to execute. But guys, they do deserve an excuse because they back and forth. So somebody on that offense, whether it's Carr, and I'm not going to say Kamara because Kamara does his thing, but whether it's Carr, because my thing is this. Look at the stats. So for Derek Carr this previous game, and I don't care if you're a Saints fan, I'm just saying. I'm just giving my take. That's it. So Derek Carr's pass game, 14 of 25, 142 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Let's go to rushing. Kamara, 26 attempts with 26 carries, 87 yards, no touchdown. Go to receiving. Olave, 6 receptions, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 3 yards, 40 yards, 0 touchdowns. Where is Shaheed? Shaheed had 0 catches for 0 yards this game. So what does that tell you? Was the Eagles defense really just that potent? Or was either he wasn't able to separate, or was Derek Carr just making bad decisions? Or was he just trying to keep force feeding Kamara? So, and that's another thing I go back to. We are doing the same thing with Kamara that we seen New York do with Saquon. We're doing the same thing with Kamara that we seen Carolina do with Christian McCaffrey. We're doing the same thing with Kamara that we're seeing Derrick Henry the Titans did with Derrick Henry. Overworking him. It's only so much that one man can do. So we have to get out of being so codependent on Kamara. Now this is where it goes to, I'm off a Carr now. You receivers need to step up. Receivers need to step up. Tight ends need to step up. Jamal Williams, you need to come in and become beneficial and productive. It can't just be Kamara. Now granted, you can say, okay, we lost Taysom Hill. Yeah, he was hurt. That probably did hurt us. But at the end of the day, one man don't stop a show. You still have to be able to show up and play. So that was my thing with the Saints. I think that a lot of it was smoke and mirrors. And I could be wrong. Because we're only 3 games into a 17-game season. And we 2-1. And we went from here to here just that fast. So I have questions of, can this offense keep up that style of play for 17 games of a season? Can our offense keep up that style of play to be able to get us into the playoffs? That's just my take. But this camera's finna die, man, so I gotta end this video, man. If you guys did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that post notification bell where you be notified on all things Rob Sports Center, man. Because like I say, I got these videos coming back to back. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. By the way, comment something that you agree on and comment something that you disagree on. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out this thing. Peace.